Welcome to our channel, USA Coin Spot. These 10 nickels can make you rich. Jefferson's secret wealth. Top 1. You might want to sit down for this, because what I'm about to tell you could literally change the way you look at your coin collection forever. Imagine holding a small, ordinary-looking nickel in your hand, something you'd usually toss into a jar or leave under the couch cushions. But what if I told you that this very coin, this 5-cent piece, could actually be worth tens of thousands of dollars? And I'm not exaggerating. This isn't just some urban legend or clickbait rumor. This is very real. There's a special version of the 1970 American 5-cent coin, and if you have it, you could be sitting on a hidden fortune. We're talking about a coin that came straight out of a proof set, a coin that collectors dream of finding, and its value can range anywhere from $2,700 all the way up to a jaw-dropping $79,000. That's right. 5 cents that could be worth $79,000. It sounds insane, but it's 100% real. Now here's where it gets interesting. This coin wasn't made for general circulation. It came from a US mint-proof set, which means it was struck with extra care, using specially polished dies and planchets. These proof coins have sharp details and mirrored finishes that regular coins simply don't have. They're made for collectors. But in 1970, something incredibly rare happened. A handful of these nickels, specifically the ones with the S mint mark, that's San Francisco, were struck on the wrong type of coin. In a rare minting error, some of these 1970 S-proof nickels were actually struck on top of 1941 Canadian coins. Let that sink in. The US Mint accidentally used foreign coin blanks. So what you end up with is a United States nickel, layered over a Canadian coin, in the same strike. It's bizarre, it's beautiful, and it's extremely valuable. And the craziest part? Most people don't even know this coin exists. There could be one in a box in your attic right now. In a drawer. In a forgotten coin collection. Maybe you picked one up at a flea market, an estate sale, or inherited a proof set from a relative. You might not even realize what you have. But collectors, and serious coin investors, are always on the hunt for this exact variety. Because coins like these are the holy grail of numismatics. The rarity, the bizarre backstory, and the historical curiosity make them irresistible. Now, how do you know if you have one? First, check for a 1970 S-proof nickel. It must have that S mint mark under the date. Then, under good lighting or with a magnifying glass, look for traces of the original 1941 Canadian design underneath. It might show through faintly, perhaps a rim outline or a ghost image of the original lettering. But whatever you do, do not clean the coin. That could reduce its value drastically. If you even think it might be the rare variety, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. This is where the value really kicks in. Even examples that are lightly worn or show signs of circulation have sold for $2,700. That's the starting point. But coins in better condition, especially those in pristine proof state, have gone for outrageous amounts at auction. The highest known sales? $79,000. Imagine pulling that kind of value out of a small plastic sleeve in a dusty old proof set. A coin that cost maybe a few dollars decades ago, now worth more than most people's cars. And the truth is, many of these valuable coins are still out there. Not in museums. Not in private collections. But sitting in homes, boxes, and forgotten albums. The US Mint didn't even intend for this mistake to happen. That's what makes it so rare. We're not talking about a coin that millions of people are trying to find with little hope. This is a legitimate opportunity to discover something real. Something life-changing. A 5-cent piece that has the power to shock dealers, stun collectors, and reward the average person with a sudden windfall. This isn't just about a coin. It's about being aware. It's about knowing that hidden gems can exist in plain sight. It's about realizing that your everyday collection, your inherited proof sets, or even your forgotten pocket change could contain a piece of American minting history worth thousands. So check your coins. Search your old sets. Look carefully. Because someone out there will find this treasure. Someone will discover that magical 1970s proof nickel. Someone will send it in, get it graded, and realize they're holding a piece of metal that could fetch $79,000. Why not let that someone be you? If you enjoyed this and want more eye-opening stories about coins worth a fortune, make sure to subscribe and tap that bell. There are more secrets like this out there, and I'll be the one to show you where they're hiding. Top 2. What if the most ordinary-looking coin in your house is actually hiding a jaw-dropping secret? A coin that doesn't look any different to the average eye, but could make you rich beyond anything you'd expect from a little 5-cent piece. A coin from a year most people would ignore. 1973, 1 nickel. 1 year. And a small detail that could unlock a value so high, you won't believe your ears. We're not talking about gold or silver. We're talking about a 5-cent coin. Yes, just 5 cents. But not just any coin. This is the 1973 American 5 cents, pulled straight from a proof set, and some of these coins have become the stuff of legend in the coin world. Because of a tiny error. A bizarre twist. A stroke of minting madness that turned a simple coin into something worth a small fortune. Most people walk past coins on the street. They dump them in jars. Toss them into tip jars. Or worse, cash them in by the pound without ever thinking twice. But if you've got one of these rare 1973 proof nickels hiding somewhere, and you don't even know it, you could be giving away tens of thousands of dollars without even realizing it. Let's break it down. In 1973, the U.S. Mint struck millions of nickels. But the ones that matter didn't go into circulation. They were never meant for your pocket or a vending machine. They were specially made, with polished dies and planchets, to go into official U.S. Mint proof sets for collectors. These proof coins are different. They're sharper, shinier, perfectly detailed. But among them, a few were struck with errors so rare that they've become the holy grail of modern American coin collecting. We're talking about strike-through errors, double strikes, off-metal strikes, and even a few cases of coins being struck on planchets intended for completely different coins. These aren't the kind of things you'll see every day. These are minting mishaps that never should have happened, and because so few exist, collectors are willing to pay outrageous prices to get their hands on them. Now here's the shocking part. Some 1973 Jefferson Nickels from proof sets have surfaced over the years with striking flaws so unique, so scarce, that they've been verified and graded by the top services in the industry, PCGS, NGC, and the final sale prices have left jaws on the floor. You're probably thinking, how can 5 cents turn into thousands? Because rarity drives value. Combine that with a flawless proof finish and a dramatic mint error, and you've got a recipe for a true numismatic jackpot. And the best part? These coins don't always look wildly different at first glance. That's why they go unnoticed. For decades. Sitting in dusty drawers. Forgotten in inherited proof sets. Stored away by someone's grandfather who had no idea what he was holding. And this is where things get real. Right now, there are proof coins from 1973 sitting in homes across the country. Most people have no clue they're valuable. But collectors, dealers, and investors are watching like hawks. Because if you have one of these rare nickels, you're not just holding a piece of American history, you're holding real money. So take this as your warning. Or your invitation. Go check your proof sets. Pull out that 1973 5-cent coin. Tilt it under the light. Look closely. Any unusual markings, strike errors, or weight differences? That could be the sign you're holding something incredibly rare. If you see anything strange, and even if you don't, do not clean the coin. Do not handle it roughly. Get it looked at by a professional grading company and get it slabbed immediately. Because the market for these coins is hotter than ever. Some of these 1973 nickels from proof sets, with confirmed errors, high grades, or unique characteristics, have sold for as low as $2,700. And the rarest, cleanest, most flawless examples? The ones that make headlines, spark bidding wars, and land in elite collections? Those have gone for as much as $87,000. Let that number sink in. One tiny nickel. Worth $87,000. And someone out there owns one right now without even realizing it. Maybe it's sitting in a sealed envelope in a closet. Maybe it's tucked away in a box of inherited coins. Maybe it's in your house. Right now, coins like this don't just belong to history. They belong to the sharp-eyed, the curious, the lucky few who actually take the time to look. So if you've got a proof set from 1973, or know someone who does, go find it. Check every detail. You might be holding the next great coin treasure without even knowing it. And if you're lucky, you won't be holding just 5 cents, you'll be holding a payday worth between $2,700 and $87,000. Top 3. What if I told you there's a 5-cent coin hiding in a proof set that could be worth more than your car, more than your rent for the year, maybe even more than your entire savings account? You might laugh. You might say, "It's just a nickel." But here's the thing, it's not just a nickel. It's the 1974 American 5-cent coin from a US Mint proof set, and this tiny piece of metal has made collectors go absolutely wild. One coin, 1 year, and one unbelievable value hiding in plain sight. People pass over nickels every single day without a second thought. They toss them into jars, leave them in car cup holders. They drop them on the sidewalk and never look back. But some of the smartest, wealthiest coin collectors in America are out there scouring collections, estate sales, and auctions, looking for this exact coin. Why? Because the 1974 Jefferson Nickel, struck as a proof, has a secret that most people don't know about, and if you're lucky enough to have one of the rare versions, you might be sitting on a fortune. Let's take a closer look. The US Mint issues proof sets every year, beautifully struck coins made with mirrored finishes and sharp detail. They're never intended for everyday use. They're packaged and sold to collectors directly by the Mint. But every now and then, something unexpected happens. A coin comes out, different, rare, flawed in a way that makes it incredibly desirable. In 1974, a small number of proof nickels were struck with dramatic errors, misstrikes, and other anomalies that went completely unnoticed by the general public. These weren't coins handed out at the store or found in change. These were sealed in proof sets and stored away. But time passed. Families inherited them. Some were forgotten. Some were thrown into boxes. Some were stored so well they were never seen again, until now. And this is where it gets really interesting. There have been confirmed discoveries of 1974 proof nickels that were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they were minted on metal blanks intended for different coins. There have been deep cameo examples with flawless contrast, which are extremely rare. There have even been reports of unusual strike-throughs and double strikes, all from proof sets. And guess what? When these coins are authenticated and graded, the prices they fetch at auction are absolutely mind-blowing. Just imagine pulling out a proof set from 1974, thinking it's just a nice keepsake, and realizing that one coin in that set could change your financial life. All because of a microscopic difference. All because of something so small, most people never bother to look. That's the power of knowledge. And that's why collectors are always on high alert when it comes to older proof sets. They know the secrets the average person doesn't. They know that rarity plus error plus condition equals serious money. Not chump change. Not a few bucks on eBay. We're talking the kind of money that makes your jaw drop and your heart race. So here's the question. Do you have one? Do you have a 1974 US Mint proof set sitting in a drawer, a closet, a box in the garage? Did you inherit coins from a grandparent, a parent, or a relative who collected proof sets back in the day? If you do, you need to take a second look. That nickel, the one you've never paid attention to, might just be your ticket to a serious payday. Now don't go rushing to touch it with your fingers or polish it up. That's the worst thing you could do. Proof coins are delicate. Handling them the wrong way can lower their value instantly. What you want to do is get the coin examined professionally. Send it to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. Let the experts tell you what you have. Because if it's one of the rare proof errors, or one of the few ultra-high-grade specimens from that year, you're not holding a 5-cent coin. You're holding a treasure. The price range for these rare 1974 proof nickels is not something to ignore. Depending on the rarity, the condition, and the era involved, these coins have sold for as low as $2,700, and in the most exceptional, pristine, and rarest cases, they've reached final sale prices as high as $85,000. Let that sink in. One tiny nickel from a proof set, worth $85,000, and most people will never even look. This isn't just about collecting coins. This is about being aware. This is about understanding that value is sometimes hidden in the smallest, most unexpected places. This is about realizing that while most people are looking at flashy things, true treasure often lies in what they ignore. The next time you pick up a coin, you'll think twice. The next time you see a proof set, you'll take it seriously. Because one of these could be your ticket to a life-changing moment. So check your proof sets. Look at your 1974 nickels. And remember, that simple 5-cent coin might just be worth between $2,700 and $85,000. Top 4. What if I told you the most valuable thing in your home right now isn't your phone, your jewelry, or your electronics, but a 5-cent coin you've forgotten about? A small, quiet coin, tucked away in a case or a drawer, maybe in your attic or in a box you haven't opened in years. A nickel from 1975. And not just any 1975 nickel, a proof coin. A version that never touched circulation. A version created only for collectors. But some of these coins hold a secret that has stunned the coin collecting world. Because a few of these proof nickels, the ones struck by the US Mint in 1975, have a hidden value that can go far beyond imagination. It looks like any other 5-cent piece. Same Jefferson profile. Same Monticello on the reverse. But the right one, in the right condition, with the right detail or error, has sold for thousands, even tens of thousands, of dollars. Think about that for a second. A coin that says 5 cents. Something you wouldn't hesitate to toss in a jar or hand to a cashier. But the truth is, some of these proof coins from 1975 have become the kind of treasure that most people will never find, simply because they never look closely enough. Now here's what makes the 1975 proof nickel so interesting. These coins were made in limited numbers by the San Francisco Mint, marked with the tiny S under the date. Proof coins are known for their sharp design and mirror-like finish. But within that year's production, there were anomalies. Rare features. Unexpected mistakes. A few were struck on the wrong planchets, possibly on foreign coins or other US denominations. Others showed powerful strike-through errors or doubled dies. Even more fascinating? The coins that appear perfect, deep cameo, mirror finish, flawless, are incredibly rare in high grades. These small variations can turn a common-looking proof nickel into a collector's obsession. And what's even more exciting is that these coins weren't handed out. You couldn't get them in your change. They were sealed in proof sets sold directly by the US Mint to collectors. Which means the only way to find one today is to open that old box. That drawer. That folder. That forgotten collection passed down from a parent or grandparent. Somewhere out there, sealed in a plastic case, hidden in an attic or sitting in a shoebox, is a coin that could change someone's financial life forever. Imagine discovering that your old 1975 proof set, the one you haven't touched in decades, contains one of these rare 5-cent coins. Maybe it's one of the misstrikes. Maybe it's a flawless ultra cameo version in PR70 condition. Maybe it's one of the few known off-metal errors that collectors are fighting over at auctions. You wouldn't even know until you looked. That's the thrill of it. That's the hunt. The idea that something so small, so ordinary looking, could be worth more than you ever imagined. And here's the truth: the average person has no idea. Most people treat proof coins like pretty souvenirs. They don't realize that within these mint-sealed sets, rarities can hide in plain sight. But the collectors know. The dealers know. The auction houses know. That's why they keep looking. That's why they're paying top dollar. Because supply is limited and demand? It's growing every single year. This is your wake-up call. If you have a 1975 proof set, it's time to dig it out. Open it carefully. Look at that nickel. Check the date. Look for the S mint mark. Study the surfaces. Is it unusually sharp? Does it look like it has an unusual color or thickness? Do the design elements look doubled? Is it struck perfectly without a single flaw? These small clues can be the key to unlocking a hidden payday, and if you think you have something special, do not handle it with your bare hands. Do not try to clean it. That could destroy the value instantly. Instead, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it, grade it, and confirm whether you have a common proof or one of the rare few that command massive prices at auction. Let's talk about those prices. Some of the rarest 1975 proof nickels have already sold, and the results have been shocking. Depending on the grade, the condition, and the error or rarity involved, these coins have brought in as little as $2,700 and as much as $89,000. Yes. That's 5 cents, turning into $89,000. And the best part? That treasure might already be in your house. In your family? In your hands. So, before you write off your old coin sets as worthless, before you assume that 5 cents means just 5 cents, remember this: every proof coin has a story. And some have value that can change everything. All it takes is one discovery, one right coin, and your next move could be the most profitable decision you've ever made. Top 5. There's something sitting in homes across America right now that people are completely overlooking. Something tiny. Something old. Something that looks like it's worth nothing, but could be worth everything. It's not gold. It's not silver. It's not a diamond ring or a rare painting. It's a 5-cent coin. Specifically, a 1978 American 5-cent coin that came straight from a U.S. mint-proof set. It's one of the coins you never think twice about. But maybe, just maybe, it's the coin that could completely change your financial future. You see, most people don't understand what makes proof coins so special. These aren't the coins you find in your change or at the bottom of a cup holder. These were made with precision, struck using polished dies on specially prepared planchets, giving them mirror-like finishes and incredibly sharp details. They were never meant to be used. They were never supposed to be tossed around. They were made for collectors. For people who cared about history. About quality. But here's where it gets really interesting. In 1978, the U.S. Mint struck these 5-cent coins as part of official proof sets. But not every coin in those sets was created equal. Some were born with imperfections, tiny errors that the average person can't spot, but the experts? They're looking for them every day. A few of these nickels were struck with off-metal errors, double dies, and strike-through mistakes that slipped through unnoticed. They were sealed inside proof sets, sold, and then stored away in closets and attics for years, sometimes decades, without anyone ever realizing their true worth. Now picture this. You're sorting through an old box of family keepsakes. You find a 1978 proof set. It looks nice. Clean. Shiny. You see the nickel inside. You almost ignore it. You almost pass it up. But you take a closer look. You notice the crispness of the detail, the clarity of the mirror finish, or maybe even something that just looks a little off. That one moment, that one decision to look closer, could be the moment that changes everything, because people have already discovered these hidden gems. And they've cashed in. Proof nickels from 1978 with rare minting errors or ultra-high grades have turned up in sealed sets, and when they've been sent in for professional grading and authentication, the results have been shocking. A coin that once sat untouched for years suddenly becomes the center of a bidding war at auction. Collectors go crazy. Dealers raise their paddles. And the final sale price? Let's just say, it's far beyond what anyone would expect for something stamped with 5 cents. This isn't just a story about money. It's about the thrill of discovery. It's about realizing that true value isn't always obvious. That the smallest, quietest things can sometimes be the most powerful. That one overlooked detail could hold a fortune in your hand. And the best part? Most people still have no clue. They're sitting on these proof sets right now. In boxes. In drawers. in safety deposit boxes, maybe even in your house. The only difference between their nickel and your fortune is knowledge. So here's what you need to do. If you have a 1978 proof set, or know someone who does, find it. Examine that 5-cent coin carefully. Look for unusual features. Is the design doubled? Is the coin thinner or thicker than normal? Does the metal look different? Is it perfectly struck, without even the smallest flaw? These could be signs that you're holding something extremely rare. And if you suspect it might be something valuable, don't try to clean it or mess with it. That could destroy the value instantly. Instead, send it to a professional coin grading company like PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm exactly what you have, and if it turns out to be one of the special ones, if it has the right error, the right grade, or the right rarity, then you're not just holding a collector's coin anymore. You're holding a financial surprise that very few people ever get to experience. You're holding what could be the most valuable 5 cents you've ever owned. Some of these rare 1978 proof nickels have already made their way to auction. And the numbers they've pulled? Absolutely stunning. Depending on condition, rarity, and error type, these coins have sold for as little as $2,700 and as much as $74,000. That's $74,000 for a nickel. A 5-cent coin from a proof set that was never meant to be rare, but became legendary. Now ask yourself one question: is it sitting in your house right now? Because if it is, that's not just a nickel. That's an opportunity. And you'll never look at change the same way again. Top 6. Have you ever held a coin in your hand, something so ordinary, so common looking, and wondered if it might be worth more than anyone ever imagined? What if I told you there's a 5-cent coin, made in 1983, that could be hiding in plain sight, sealed in a plastic-proof case, sitting forgotten in a drawer, and that little nickel might be the one thing standing between you and tens of thousands of dollars? Sounds crazy, right? But it's absolutely true. We're not talking about some ancient coin buried in the desert. We're not talking about gold, silver, or a coin you have to travel across the world to find. We're talking about a modern American nickel, the 1983 Jefferson 5-cent coin, struck by the U.S. Mint in a proof set, and in some rare cases, it holds a value that will blow your mind. The 1983 proof nickels weren't made for circulation. They were carefully crafted at the San Francisco Mint, marked with the S Mint mark, and sealed in official proof sets sold directly to collectors. These coins are known for their mirror-like backgrounds, razor-sharp details, and flawless surfaces. But here's where things get exciting. Not all of them came out perfectly. Some of them, just a tiny handful, were struck with minting mistakes. Some were struck on the wrong type of metal. Some showed doubling in the lettering. Others were minted slightly off-center or with partial designs due to strike errors. And in the coin world, these mistakes, they're worth serious money. And it's not just the errors. It's also about perfection. You see, most coins, even proof coins, have tiny blemishes, microscopic marks that disqualify them from being called perfect. But once in a blue moon, a proof coin from 1983 is discovered in absolutely pristine condition. Graded PR 69 or even a perfect PR 70 deep cameo by top agencies like PCGS or NGC. That's when collectors start to lose their minds. Because that kind of quality? That kind of rarity? That's what drives the price through the roof. The best part. These coins are not locked away in museums or millionaire collections. They're in basements, closets, garages. In unopened boxes. In inherited coin sets people forgot they had. You might have one and not even know it. You might have walked past a fortune every single day without realizing that a small 5-cent coin sitting in a dusty proof set is worth more than your paycheck, more than your rent, maybe even more than your car. Just imagine. You open up that old proof set from 1983. You glance at the nickel. Looks nice, shiny, untouched. But then, under a magnifier or a good light, something catches your eye. Maybe it's a doubled letter. Maybe the strike looks unusual. Or maybe it's just so flawless, so perfect, it doesn't even seem real. And that moment, that realization, could be the start of one of the most profitable discoveries of your life. You don't have to be a professional. You don't need a coin shop or a museum degree. All you need is a little curiosity and the willingness to look. Because right now, collectors across the country are chasing these nickels. Dealers are hunting for them. Bidding wars are breaking out at auctions. And every single day, someone is discovering the power of a single coin. If you think you've got a 1983 proof nickel that looks unusual, or just too perfect to be ordinary, don't mess with it. Don't touch it with your fingers, don't clean it, and definitely don't try to make it look better. That's how people ruin thousands of dollars in value without knowing it. Instead, send it to a trusted grading service. Let the experts decide. Because when the right one shows up, the rare error, the flawless strike, the impossible minting miracle, it can spark a frenzy. Some people collect coins for fun. Others do it for history. But this is for those who know that sometimes treasure isn't buried, it's boxed, sealed, and quietly waiting to be found. So if you've got a 1983 proof set tucked away somewhere, now's the time to open it. Check that nickel. Examine it closely. Because if you're lucky enough to find one of these rare pieces, you might not just be holding a 5-cent coin, you might be holding a payday worth between $2,700 and $69,000. Top 7. Imagine this. A 5-cent coin, just a nickel, sitting quietly inside an old proof set from 1990. It's not flashy. It doesn't sparkle like gold. It doesn't look ancient or historic. In fact, to the untrained eye, it looks like just another coin. But what if I told you this ordinary-looking piece of metal could secretly be worth tens of thousands of dollars? And it's sitting right now in someone's home, untouched, unnoticed, and wildly undervalued. You see, 1990 doesn't seem like a year that would make headlines in the world of rare coins. But that's exactly why it's so fascinating. Because that's the year the U.S. Mint unknowingly created one of the hidden gems of American coinage, a handful of 1990 Jefferson Nickels struck in proof format, that turned out to be worth far more than anyone ever expected. Now, here's what most people don't realize. Proof coins are not regular coins. They aren't made to be used or spent. They're minted with special care, sharp, frosted designs on glossy, mirror-like fields. They're made using polished dies and specially prepared blanks. Every detail is crisp. Every edge flawless. And these coins are sealed in U.S. Mint proof sets, never intended to circulate. But something strange happened in 1990. A very small number of these 5-cent proof coins had errors, defects, minting quirks that collectors are desperate to find. Some were struck on the wrong type of planchet, maybe a foreign coin blank, maybe a leftover from another denomination. Others have bizarre doubling on the date, the lettering, or Jefferson's profile. There are examples with partial strikes, off-center features, or a mirrored finish so perfect it looks computer-generated. And those errors? Those near-impossible levels of quality? That's what turns a simple coin into a jackpot. Now here's the kicker. These coins are hiding in plain sight. They were never placed into circulation, but were sealed in proof sets sold to collectors. Some were given as gifts and never opened. Others were stored away in closets or passed down through families. Today, they sit in dusty boxes, forgotten drawers, old cabinets, waiting. Unseen. Untouched. And worth far more than 5 cents. And if you're wondering if you might have one, the answer could absolutely be yes. Think about how many people bought proof sets in the 1990s. Or received them from a grandparent. Or found them in a safe deposit box. The 1990 set looks clean, sharp, and yet it's the nickel that could be holding the treasure. The coin most people ignore. The one that doesn't look rare, until someone finally looks close enough to realize just how rare it truly is. There's something thrilling about that. Knowing that an overlooked coin might secretly be a fortune in your pocket. You don't need to be a collector. You don't need a vault full of silver. You just need one coin that happens to be one of the rarest of its kind. So if you've got a 1990 proof set, or know someone who does, now is the time to dig it out. Find that 5-cent coin. Examine it carefully under a good light. Look at the date. Check the S mint mark from the San Francisco Mint. Look for doubling, errors, or that ultra-deep cameo contrast that serious collectors crave. Even a perfect version, without flaws, can skyrocket in value when graded PR70 by PCGS or NGC. And if you find something unusual, don't touch it with bare hands. Don't clean it. Don't try to make it look better. You could ruin it instantly. Instead, get it professionally graded. Because you could be holding something no one else has, and once it's confirmed, once it hits the market, collectors will line up to outbid each other for the chance to own it. It's hard to believe, isn't it? That something so small could be so valuable. But in the world of rare coins, it's always the sleeper coins, the ones nobody talks about, that deliver the biggest surprises. And right now, the 1990 proof nickel is one of those coins. Collectors are watching. Dealers are searching. And someone, somewhere, is about to discover that their quiet little proof set holds a secret worth between $2,700 and $59,000. Top 8. There's a coin out there right now, so small, so familiar, so ordinary looking, that people walk past it every single day without even thinking twice. It's worth just 5 cents on paper. That's right, a nickel. But in the right hands, under the right circumstances, it could explode in value and turn into a massive payday that no one saw coming. We're talking about the 1995 American 5-cent coin, pulled straight from a US mint proof set. And the truth is, this little coin might just be the sleeper treasure hiding in someone's collection right now. Every year, the US Mint produces stunning proof coins, mirror-like, ultra-detailed, carefully struck coins designed only for collectors. They're not made for spending. They're not meant to pass through hands and change or slide across grocery counters. They're sold in special sets, stored in clean plastic cases, meant to be preserved, untouched, and admired. But every so often, something extraordinary happens. In 1995, the Jefferson Nickel proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint included a small number of examples that went far beyond ordinary. Some carried unusual minting errors. Some had doubled elements in the design. A few were struck on incorrect planchets. And some were simply so perfect, so flawless, that they became instant targets for serious collectors chasing the highest grades possible. It's not just about finding an error. It's about discovering something no one else has. A proof coin so rare in quality, or so bizarre in production that it becomes a golden ticket. Because in the numismatic world, rarity plus condition equals serious money. Here's what makes this story even crazier. Many of these rare coins are still hiding. Not in museums or elite collections, but in homes. In closets. In safety deposit boxes. In old gift boxes handed down from grandparents. These 1995 proof sets are scattered across the country, and in some of them, that rare 5-cent piece is still sealed, untouched, waiting for the right person to take a closer look. Most people never bother to look. That's the secret. They glance at a proof set, see shiny coins, maybe admire the penny or the $50, but the nickel? It gets ignored. It's just a nickel. But that's exactly why this story is so important. Because that overlooked little coin may be one of the rare few that collectors are spending months, even years, searching for. One single detail, one subtle error, or a flawless grade, and suddenly that 5-cent piece is worth more than your last 10 paychecks combined. Now imagine this. You're at home. You find an old drawer, an old envelope, maybe even a sealed US Mint box from the 90s. You open it up and see the 1995 proof set. Everything looks clean. Sealed. Crisp. You pull it out, and there it is. That nickel. You take a closer look. Something looks different. The strike is sharper than usual. The shine is glassy and untouched. Maybe you see doubling in the date. Or maybe it's a pristine cameo finish, perfectly contrasted, not a single flaw in sight. That's when your heart starts racing. Because you might be holding a coin worth far more than 5 cents. This isn't hype. This is reality. Rare proof nickels from 1995 have already shown up in auctions. Collectors are actively hunting for them. And when these coins are graded by top services like PCGS or NGC, especially if they hit that PR70 deep cameo status, their value skyrockets. And the ones with documented minting errors? Even more explosive in value. Because when supply is this low and demand is this high, prices don't just rise, they explode. So what should you do if you think you have one? First, don't touch the coin directly. Don't try to polish it. Don't handle it with bare hands. That's the fastest way to destroy value. Leave it in its original case if possible. And then, get it professionally graded. Because if it's one of the rare ones, with the right condition or the right mistake, you've got something special. Something collectors will fight over. And the best part? You didn't have to dig for it. You didn't have to spend years searching. You just had to recognize what was already in front of you. So here's your next step. Go find that 1995 proof set. Whether it's yours, a family member's, or sitting in a box somewhere forgotten, go look. Because if you find the right coin, you're not holding just another 5-cent piece. You're holding a payday that could be worth anywhere between $2,700 and $49,000. And all you had to do was take a second look. Top 9. There's a story hiding in plain sight, tucked away inside old coin collections and forgotten drawers across America. It's about a small, seemingly insignificant coin that could hold the key to unlocking an unexpected fortune. I'm talking about the 1998 American 5-cent coin, a nickel from a proof set that, despite its everyday appearance, has the potential to be worth way more than you'd imagine. Proof sets are special. Unlike the coins we find in our pockets or at the grocery store, these proof coins are struck with extraordinary care, crafted to perfection with a mirror-like finish and razor-sharp details. The 1998 proof nickels were minted with precision at the San Francisco Mint, designed for collectors, sealed in plastic cases, and never intended to be spent. But among the thousands made that year, some coins are incredibly rare, not because of their age, but because of unique minting errors or flawless condition. Collectors and experts have been scouring the country, searching for these elusive 1998 nickels. What makes these coins so special? It could be a subtle doubling of the letters, a slight misstrike, or a coin struck on the wrong metal blank. Sometimes, it's simply a matter of condition, the rare cases where a coin remains untouched, perfectly preserved with deep cameo contrast and flawless surfaces. These imperfections and near perfections are what make a 1998 proof nickel an absolute treasure for collectors. Imagine opening an old proof set from 1998 and discovering this nickel, glistening, sharp, and possibly one of those rare error coins or a perfect specimen. The thrill of uncovering such a coin is only matched by the rush that comes when you realize what it's really worth. This isn't just pocket change. This could be a ticket to a life-changing windfall. And here's the catch: most people don't even bother to check the coins in their old proof sets. They assume they're just worth face value or maybe a few dollars. But the reality is very different. Rare 1998 proof nickels have been auctioned off for incredible sums, sparking bidding wars among collectors and dealers who know exactly what they're worth. If you think you might have one, the best thing to do is not to handle it too much or attempt to clean it, as that can ruin its value. Instead, have it professionally graded and authenticated by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. Once certified, that humble nickel could turn into a gold mine. The demand for these coins is growing, and the supply is limited. If you find a 1998 proof nickel with those special traits, you could be holding a coin worth anywhere between $2,700 and $47,000. So, the question is, do you have a 1998 proof set tucked away somewhere? Because inside, there might just be a 5-cent coin that could change everything. Top 10. Imagine holding a coin so ordinary, so common, that millions of Americans pass it by every day without a second glance. A simple 5-cent piece minted in the year 2000. At first glance, it looks like just another nickel. But what if I told you that this very coin, taken from a pristine proof set, could be your golden ticket, a hidden treasure that collectors are desperately searching for? A coin with the power to turn your dusty collection into a fortune you never saw coming. proof coins from the year 2000 are not your everyday pocket change. They were struck with care and precision at the San Francisco Mint, designed with a mirror-like finish and razor-sharp details, reserved only for collectors who understood their value. These proof nickels weren't meant to be spent, they were made to be preserved. But among the thousands created, a rare few stand apart, rare errors, unusual minting quirks, or simply perfection so flawless it defies belief. What makes the 2000 proof nickel so exciting is that some of these coins show incredible features that only experts notice. You might find a double date, a slight off-center strike, or a planchet error that's nearly impossible to spot. Other times, the coin's condition alone can push its value through the roof. Coins graded PR70 by top grading companies are considered the holy grail, commanding prices that make even gold seem like pocket change. Now imagine this. You open an old proof set from the year 2000. Everything gleams under the light, but then your eyes catch something unusual about that 5-cent coin. Maybe it's the way the light reflects off its deeply frosted design, or the way the letters seem slightly doubled when viewed under a magnifier. That moment, that realization, could be the start of a life-changing discovery. And here's the real kicker. These coins are still out there, hiding in drawers, safes, and collections all across the country. Many people have no idea that they might be sitting on a coin worth thousands, or even tens of thousands, of dollars. The coin looks common, but it's the rarity and the condition that make it an absolute powerhouse in the collector market. If you think you have a 2000 proof nickel, it's crucial not to handle it carelessly. Avoid cleaning it or exposing it to anything that could damage its surface. Instead, get it professionally graded by trusted organizations like PCGS or NGC. Once certified, you'll have concrete proof of its value, and that value could shock you. The demand for these rare proof nickels from 2000 is fierce. Collectors are hunting them down, eager to add these elusive coins to their collections. With supply limited and interest soaring, prices have skyrocketed in recent years. This isn't just about a 5-cent coin anymore. It's about discovering a hidden fortune that could be worth anywhere from $2,700 to $43,000. So, do you have a 2000 proof set tucked away somewhere? If so, it's time to take a closer look at that 5-cent coin. Because what looks like just a simple nickel might just be the key to unlocking a fortune you never expected.